Hey African Queen Mo Cardiff family, how are you doing? Yes, I have traveled. Yes, I've traveled. You can see. Well, thank you so much for supporting my last video. And before I get into hairstyles, because this one has really gone crazy, let's talk about, first of all, what am I doing here? My original itinerary was to actually go to the USA, take my cousin there, go see my son. I went shopping. I bought all the beautiful Kenyan coffee and stuff. Yeah. And then, what a beautiful flight we had. It was smooth all the way from Jomo Kenyatta International Airport in Nairobi all the way to... We're in New York, guys. Yay! How have you guys been? Thank you so much for the over 4,000 views to the last video. Wow, that was quite interesting. And what am I doing in Cardiff? I'm supposed to have been in the US. Wow. Yeah, so basically I'm one of the people who actually experienced the Trump order for basically repatriation of people who arrive at their borders of the US and who don't fill their forms correctly. So unfortunately, I arrived after a 22-hour journey, super exhausted, sat down for about an hour or 2 hours or more with immigration, and eventually they decided that I am inadmissible. And me, who has traveled to the US on several occasions on my passport, was denied entry into the United States of America. The country which I really love, the country where my son is, the country that I'm always proud of, the president that I support everywhere on TikTok, on YouTube, on Facebook. Am I angry? No. Am I disappointed? Yes. I'm not angry, but I'm disappointed. Why am I disappointed? Because I don't get to see my son, whose birthday it was, to see the smile on his face when I give him his present. I don't get to settle my cousin, who I actually traveled with. I was actually traveling with somebody who needed me to help her settle down. She's actually American, and she's actually going for medical reasons, okay? But I'm disappointed because of the misapplication of the law on travelers, and I'm also disappointed because of the impact on travel for many people all over the US and Europe and everywhere else in the world. I think that was disappointing. Why am I not angry? I'm not angry because I know Trump is not the one who actually sent me back home. Trump himself, Elon Musk himself, they did not send me back home. It's the immigration officer's responsibility to translate the law and apply it in the right way. Did they do that? In my view, no. In their view, in some of their view, they agreed with me that the decision was harsh and unnecessary on my part. And they actually said to me, we do not agree with this. And then they gave me solutions like go to the embassy in London and apply and all that stuff, but it was a bit too late to be telling me to go to the embassy and apply, because by now I've already lost interest, motivation, and also money for travel. But I was grateful because I had a family waiting for me back in Wales. And yeah, so at least I was grateful because I had a family waiting back in Wales for me. Okay, guys, so basically, this is my situation here. That now they said that they were going to take me back to my place of embankment, which was Nairobi, Kenya. And I told them that no, 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 no. Look at my passport. The one that the return ticket that I did have said London to Nairobi. So you need to send me the same way. So fortunately, at least they listened to that. And the airline, Brussels Airlines, oh my God, you guys, that's a really good airline to travel. Yes, they handled me very well, maintained my dignity, because I was super traumatized by that. To be honest, it was traumatizing because it was surprising, not something I was expecting, but I heard about it, but I didn't think it applied to me, because I'm one of those people who's a stickler for making sure that I don't have any sort of immigration issues. When I was a university student, my papers were always intact, visas were always renewed on time. I never played around with immigration, so I didn't understand what was really going on until I actually started reading a lot of TikTok videos later and realized that even citizens are having a problem. Even the European countries are warning their own citizens not to travel to the US. But because I'm such a positive thinker, such a positive mind, I believe that no, that doesn't apply to me. And as soon as I applied for the travel authority authorization, it was approved in less than an hour online. So I knew, because I've traveled before many times, that this was not going to apply to me, guys. It was not going to apply to me. But how wrong I was, how wrong I was. And this is the thing, guys, that whatever you thought you knew before, throw it out of the window. Everything is different. Everything has changed. America is on a free fall when it comes to receiving tourists, because even, the flight attendants, they were so disappointed, and they told me that this is the biggest problem that they're having right now with the Trump administration because of returning their visitors, their guests, and this is affecting airline bookings, it's affecting tourism, it's affecting the profits of the airlines, it's affecting travel, and it's going to affect America in a very big way. Unfortunately, Trump needs to do something to stem this tide, because very soon the whole world will be like, no, we're not traveling to America anymore. We're done. Yeah, we're done. And that's what's going to happen. People are not going to travel anymore. And that's not going to be a good thing, because you see, America has always relied on tourism. Disneyland, all the beautiful museums, all the places to go, the fun parks and fun rides, all the things that you can imagine are so lovely to see in the US. Now a lot of people are not going to see them.
So y'all know them travel advisory reports that the United States loves to push out, basically telling us to not go to certain places because they're violent or it's not safe. Yeah, so the Department of Commerce has now issued a report showing a growing list of countries advising their citizens to not come to the United States, to not come and visit the United States. Yeah, now we are not the safe country. So I'm reading from an article that you can find on Forbes.com, right? So it says that the United States government reported a double-digit overall drop in international arrivals last month, with much bigger losses coming from Canada, Mexico, and lucrative Western Europe markets, suggesting foreign tourists are staying away in significant numbers due to the tariff backlash and even harsher immigration tactics.
If you are not a U.S. citizen, don't come to this country. If you are here and you're not a U.S. citizen, I don't care what kind of documentation you have, and I don't care how long you're staying, whether it's for a week or years, go. If you can go, go. And I know this is what they want, and I hate it because I love to be like, resist. But ending up in an ICE detention facility is not an act of resistance. And it does not matter if you are white passing. It does not matter how smart you are or what you're contributing, or if you're just visiting and you're a tourist. Don't. It's not safe here. We're not safe. They are detaining U.S. citizens. They are detaining tourists. There was a 28-year-old backpacker, a young woman, who is now in an ICE detention facility. It does not matter.
First of all, if you're planning a trip to the US, here's what you have to understand. That there is no guarantee that you will enter, whether you have a visa or not, whether you're in good standing or not as a citizen, whether you have accommodation or not, whether you have a return ticket or not. But even worse is that I just heard, was it today, that several German tourists who had not booked return tickets, who did not have accommodation, they were detained for several weeks. This is one of the things that the immigration told me, that this could have gone a very, very different way. That actually I could have been detained, I could have been arrested, I could have been put away. And guys, you know, the only thing I say is I thank God for the prayers of the children. When I went to see Jane's school, they prayed for me, they hugged me, they sang for me, we had group hugs, and all of that is very important because you see, I had already mobilized the spirit and the angels to watch out for me. And so they couldn't actually touch me. And I believe that before you travel, invoke the spirit, invoke God, invoke the angels to protect you. Because out here, it is a jungle, a different type of jungle, a very difficult and very hard place to live. This earth is becoming very difficult, guys. It's tough. So this is a college which is kind of close to our home. And that's one of the things I love about Cardiff. It's so beautiful, it's quiet and lots of green. People are kind, people are, very hospitable and all that. Yeah, you might even find that somebody comes over and joins me here. You see, the thing is, even if you had, like, for example, a traffic offense and the case was dismissed by the courts, these people, the immigration, because your name is in the register, because of how good they are at taking information, that information will eventually end up being used against you, could be used against you by the wrong people. So what I really believe is happening in the US is that Donald Trump is signing orders. The caliber of people that he has hired to be supervising the teams with immigration need to be checked. Those people really need proper training and they need to understand the law. Because I feel like majority of them really do not even understand the law. If you arrive on a weekend, guys, there's no way for them to check with the authorities. And all you have to do is shut up. There's now a new executive order for anyone who refuses to cooperate with immigration on the point of arrival at the borders, okay? You will be arrested and you will be detained. So what I want to warn you guys is that whatever they ask of you, just cooperate. Cooperate, because that is what I did. I'm very smart in that sense. I don't play around with people when it comes to the law. I know these people are on a different mission, and all I have to do is just cooperate and pray to God that everything will be okay. Relax, don't get super anxious. Fortunately for me, I don't get super anxious. But also I want to thank God, because really it could have gone a really bad way and I may have been detained. I might have been, left there for 2 weeks before I was released, like many other tourists from Europe and other countries who are experiencing this.
Since President Trump took office, there have been incidents of tourists being held by ICE for weeks. Now, European countries making it clear, even if you do have a visa, you are not guaranteed entry to the U.S. Britain, Germany, Finland, and Denmark among the countries who have updated their travel advisories. The United Kingdom warning its citizens you may be liable to arrest or detention if you break the rules. Germany's Federal Foreign Office making its own updates to the travel advisories, saying travelers that even have a valid authorization permit or U.S. visa doesn't guarantee the right to enter the country, and if refused, there is no legal action to take against the decision. And Denmark telling its transgender citizens to contact the U.S. Embassy before traveling to the United States, the U.S. only recognizing two genders, male or female. A travel expert I spoke with says she's concerned about these travel warnings.
There are hundreds of thousands of Americans who work in the travel industry, so this could be very bad for the economy in general.
Currently, if you go to the US, make sure that you have a return ticket. Make sure that your passport is valid for 6 months. Make sure that your name is not anywhere on any lists, anywhere that, for example, if you had a case and if you live in a country, it's possible you went to court at some point for any reason. Maybe you took someone to court, someone took you to court. These things happen even in our own countries, yeah? You may find that there's a person with a case. That case may be used against you by immigration because they'll misinterpret that to mean that you are a liability to the country. So despite the fact that you may have traveled several times before, this particular travel, this particular time will not make any sense. I'll tell you an example. For example, when I was sitting there with immigration, four maritime people, 4 people who work with ships, they walked in, they were actually, detained, and they were questioned in terms of the kind of visa that they came in with, because apparently they came in as crew, and they shouldn't have come in as crew. They should have come in as ship workers, people, who look after the ships, who repair things on the ships. They're from Europe, they're from different countries. And do you know that they had to explain that they are not staying in the US, that the ship is docking and they're going to be on the high seas repairing the ships. And that is the only way that they will let go. I ask you how much money you have on you. Do not lie. If you have $10, say it. If you have $30, say it. If you have $500, say it. Because the next thing they're going to do, they're going to ask you to show them the dollars. This man said he had $4,000, and he was asked, "Can we see your $4,000 cash?" And he went to his bag and removed his $4,000. So I was going to say, the way some people might think that is just, a question, an arbitrary question. It's actually a question that can put you in trouble and can land you in the prisons in the US. So if you travel with a certain amount of money, make sure that you declare it. If you have anything that is declarable, such as raw food, don't travel with raw food at this time, guys. This is not the time. Don't. And also, if you are a person of color, be aware that there'll be a special target for you in America. I don't believe, as everybody believes, that this is the Donald Trump way, but I believe that there are people who will definitely take advantage of this situation and try to reduce the population of non-whites coming into the US. And I hate to say it that way, but that's really just the truth. But apart from that, I also saw on TikTok that there is an immigration lawyer born and raised in Michigan who received a letter from Homeland Security telling her to leave the country. If you don't have to travel to the US right now, I would say hold off, because laws are being made and cancelled every time. Like now, there was a new order for international students to leave the country, and now that has just been rescinded. Yeah, because of international students protesting about this, and a lot of hue and cry from the universities. People are going to lose their jobs, And one of the things that's happening now is that because of the problems of shipping, there are a lot of jobs that are going to go away, because people like truckers are going to lose their jobs, shippers are going to lose their jobs. So right now we're seeing a situation where America may actually be facing financial ruin in the next 3 months.
I have some breaking immigration news that I never imagined would be possible. European countries and Canada just issued a travel warning for the United States. Countries like Germany, Canada, Finland are warning their citizens against traveling to the US. They cite the risk of arbitrary detention. Experts estimate that tourism to the US will tank by $22 billion. So my question to you is this: if Europe and Canada are warning their citizens against traveling to the US, do you really think this is the right time to risk traveling internationally if you have a green card or a visa in the US?
Apparently, the big supermarkets only have a few weeks stock, okay? Because of the Trump tariffs, supermarkets are not able, to stock up and restock. And a lot of people are going to be without food. So wale wa Kenya ambao muko ng'ambo, tafadhalini nendeni mukanunue chakula, go and stock up, buy food, buy propane gas, buy gas tanks, buy gas cookers, just in case electricity is not going to work. You can see what's happening in Spain. Electricity went off in a very significant part of the country that even affected other countries. And so we are not sure of the kind of environment we are living in right now, except just to be prepared, guys. Just be prepared. Again, if you are denied the opportunity once to travel, you're denied the opportunity, and you know very well that you yourself are innocent. Just believe in the spirit world, believe in your creator, believe in karma, believe in justice, in natural justice, because I believe that everything that is alive has ears and eyes and has witnessed what has happened to you. Even the trees that are around here, they witness, even the grass and everything around here that is alive is witnessing my frustration as I talk about this. And on the other hand, one of the things that has happened, which is on a positive note, is that I'm now back to my family, my kids, and my husband, and we're together. So thank you for your time, guys. And I hope that those of you who are traveling to the US, if at all possible, don't give up, because the police themselves, the immigration officers themselves, told me that I could go and apply for a visa and come back on a visa, okay? And that is not something that I ever needed to do initially. You know, the ESTA is something that perhaps that the US is trying to limit and minimize. They don't want a lot of people around the world to have access to the ESTA, which is like a privilege that is given to countries that are in agreement with them. So I guess they also want to determine which people are going to be allowed with ESTA back in their countries. I see a lot of Africans with their hue and cry, complaining, asking, what did we do wrong? You know, who have we offended? Why is everybody hating on us? What's the problem? No. That's not it. Look at it as an opportunity to rebuild yourself like the Chinese have done, that they have gained their own respect in the world by being organized, by producing, by standing on their own, and now they're a country that nobody can play around with. So Africa, the same way. We have Ibrahim Traore, and we have Julius Malema. We have leaders in Africa that we have to support. We have presidents all over the continent who are fighting for the rights of Africans. And all I can tell Africans is make sure that you support your leaders who are fighting for you. Raise your voice where you see injustice. It's very important. Yeah. So on that note, guys, I want to say goodbye. Thank you for listening to me. I don't want to make it too long. Thank you for your time.